Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody. Today is the 28th. It's a Monday. We had the markets moving lower here today with the outside markets kind of spilling over into the grains. Let's turn over to the grain hedge trading platform and see where we closed off the day. Corn trading down 2 cents to 3.87 on the December contract. Soybeans down 11.5 cents to 8.77 3/4. And wheat in Chicago here trading down 1.25 cents to 5.06 on the December contract. Now out this morning, we did have a nice reportable sale, one of new crop next year and then one of delivery this year. The new crop next year was 1 million metric tons of soybeans sold to China for new crop delivery. And then we had this marketing year export sale of 249,000 metric tons of soybeans to unknown destination. That was positive to see earlier on. We didn't get much of a bump from those sales announcements. But last week, it really seemed that soybeans rally, soybeans movement higher here was a result of a large signing, a large purchase there from China, a large signing in Iowa, and basically just strong reportable export sales accompanying that throughout the week. This week we start off with some nice export sales, but it seems as though the market is unable to maintain the positive stance there, and we see a little bit of selling here today. Now let's take a look at the export inspections. This came out mid-morning. You'll notice corn came out and actually was within analyst expectations. So we saw 809,000 metric tons inspected for export in corn. That was well within the range of analyst guesses, so that was positive to see. For for wheat, it was much more positive. Wheat beat analyst expectations with 651,000 metric tons inspected for export. That was above the range of analyst guesses from 350 to 550,000 metric tons. So very strong there. Soybeans actually missed analyst expectations. A bit disappointing there, coming in with 530,000 metric tons inspected for export, below the range from 550 to 850,000 metric tons that was estimated by analysts. So a little bit disappointing there. When you look at the weather outlook this week, it looks as though we're going to have a little bit of precipitation there in the northern plains and just the plains states, and that'll most likely be coming on later in the week. But you'll notice that it looks as though temperatures will remain for the most part on average across the U.S. Should get a little cooler than normal once we get that precipitation in the second half of the week. So we'll have to see how this affects things. But in general, no major concerns here, no major disruptions to harvest. And so that should be able to continue without too much concern. Let's take a look at the daily charts. You'll notice November soybean chart here. This is a daily chart. Each one of these bars represents 1 day worth of price activity. That 890 price level, we have talked about it really for a month and a half now. And what you're seeing is that 890 price level again holding as a resistance. We tried to get up there on Friday. We kind of closed right around it. And today we were just unable to hold on to those gains we got on Friday. And we start kind of approaching the middle of the trading range, which we've been trading within really for a month and a half. So soybeans just showing some weakness there, bumping into some resistance and unable to get above it. You'll notice corn, take a look at this 100-day moving average. Corn is right at that 100-day moving average, which is hovering at 388. We did trade on the positive side above it. We also traded below it today, and in general, we kind of closed off right around it. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can hold on to these levels. But in the past, if we have anything to say there, the past has shown that this indicator, this 100-day moving average, acts as a pretty strong resistance level. And I wouldn't be surprised to see prices move a bit lower here in the days to come, simply because we tried to get above it there back in August. We again tried to get above it in September. This is the third try to get above it. We'll have to see whether or not we can, but I just think that it'll offer up some selling pressure here in the immediate couple days here following today's trade. And then wheat, one thing that is interesting, we are still below that 100-day moving average, but the wheat story is a little bit I would say a little bit less bearish. There is talks about dryness in Ukraine during seeding. They're about 40% of the average moisture that they receive during this time, so this is not very good for that winter wheat seeding. And then, of course, Australia. For the last 30 days, conditions have been drier in Australia. The concern, of course, is that we are in El Nino, and typically El Nino brings dryness to eastern Australia. Concerns that the dryness there will damage the crop if we continue to get extended dryness throughout the remainder of the growing season. That's the big concern. Right now, the immediate outlook over the next couple of weeks is no moisture in the forecast. So that's causing some concern there, causing some concern in Ukraine, and has the wheat market here with a little bit of short covering. It rallied the most last week out of all the grains. Now today we did have crop progress out, and one thing you'll notice is that we're a little bit behind the expected pace for corn harvest. We're only 18% complete compared to the expectations of 21% complete, and the average of the last 4 years of being about 23% complete during this time. So we are starting to run a little bit behind pace for corn. For soybeans, on the other hand, we're ahead of pace. We're actually 21% complete. Expectations, we're looking to see somewhere around 18%. So we're above expectations. We're also above the average. The last 4 years, on average, we're about 16% complete during this time of the year. So soybean harvest is ahead of pace, and that's very strong here. That should put pressure there on soybeans as we move forward. When you look at the crop condition ratings, we were unchanged for corn, left at 68% good to excellent, whereas soybeans did drop 1% here, going from 63% good to excellent to 62% good to excellent this week. We'll have to see whether or not that is reflected in this evening's trade, but that pretty much wraps up today's show. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, please give the office a call. The number is 877-472-4607. And remember, if you haven't done so already, take a demo of that 14-day free trial. See what it's like to have live quotes in the palm of your hand, have a desktop trading platform that you can access whenever the markets are open. It is a fantastic tool for grain marketers out there that want to be able to take advantage of selling opportunities when the market presents them. So thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here on Tuesday.